In this video, I want to show you how I use the pattern layer in Affinity Photo to create some texture backgrounds for my patterns. If you are familiar with Photoshop and the pattern preview, it's very similar. You can use it in the same way, except that you have some limitations here in Affinity Photo on the size that you want to create your pattern and the size of your pattern tile. So the first thing, let's go ahead. I have a 4000 by 4000 pixels canvas here, so just go to File, New, and then just 4000 pixels by 4000 pixels, 300 dpi. In the color, I usually just leave a standard, and I like transparent background, but you can do whatever you like in there. And then just go ahead and create. I'm going to cancel because I already have one open. And the next thing, let's go ahead very quickly and create a new pattern layer. When you create a new pattern layer, this little box comes up with the size that you want to create. It defaults to 22, and then the maximum that you can go to, let's put 3000 layers. So you'll see that it's not going to let you go all the way to 3000. The maximum you can put in there is 1024. So I just really rounded up to 1000 by 1000 in my width and my height, and I say okay. The next thing, I want to select one of my favorite brushes, pick a color. Let's pick from palette that I had created from one of my artworks, and I like the color, so let's just pick a blue, greenish blue here. And then let's go to the brushes menu, and let's use some of the native ones. So it's for example, I like the from the native ones, the inks I like this dry bristle ink. It's one of my favorites, and this analog ink nib is also another one of my favorites in the native brushes, and these analog ink brush as well. Those are pretty cool to create some background. So the next thing, let's make this just a little bit bigger so you can see. And I like that you can go outside of the pattern and just create some cool textures. That's a little bit too big, but you can see that as you start creating your marks, you can start creating your pattern, and you see how your pattern is going to look like something even like this could be a nice background. So the next thing I do, if I have something that I like, I go to my layers and go to my assets. If you don't have your assets panel open, just go to window and make sure that you have your assets selected. And I have it here. I'm just going to put it in whatever asset I have for now, so just to show you. And then just make sure you have the move tool selected, and you can select the pattern and just go ahead and bring it over to your asset library. So let's just go ahead and open a new one. Let's say, for example, I want to create a card. So just use my template 5x7, 300 dpi, and then I want to put this as a background. So I just this background that I just created as a background in my card. So just click over and bring it over. It looks like it's a little bit too big, so we can make it just a little bit smaller for my card. And then the next thing I want to do is maybe let's create a background color for my card. Move the layer all the way to the bottom. Maybe that's not very good, but maybe a lighter blue. Then it's starting to look good. The next thing I want to do is, let's say I want to make it pink, for example. So let's change my background layer to a pink color, and then now click on your pattern layer. You want to go over to the effects layer, and then you want to select color overlay. Once you click on color overlay, make sure that you head over to color, click on a color, and then you can pick, I like that color. That looks interesting for a fun modern card. So just pick a color. You can always use the RGB sliders. You can or you can select the HSL color wheel. I usually use both, but when I know I have a specific hex code that I want to use, you can just enter the hex code here. You can take a look at these and see if you like the RGB sliders. I kind of like I'm gonna undo that and let's do it again. I kind of like that light color. And then close. Make sure this is a blend mode, it's normal, and it's going to apply the color as an overlay. You can also use take a look at the blending modes and see if there's anything else that you like, but I like using normal in this one. And hit close, and now you have that pattern that you created as a background and template for a card. Let's try a different thing. Let's go ahead and remove that color overlay, close that. Now I have my pattern layer and I want to change the colors again. There's another way that I like changing the color, and it's using the hue saturation, HSL, hue saturation and lightness. That's another way that you can change the colors. So just head over and play around with the colors. So that blue is gorgeous, except that it's not great with that pink background, but and then you can change the saturation, you can change the luminosity, and then this is another way that you can change that pattern. Now I showed you here how to use it as a background in a card, but you can do the same thing and use it as a background in one of your patterns in Affinity Designer. Just to bring it over, and let me just bring it over, make sure that it's set up in your assets, and then just bring it over and use it in your designs there. So I hope you like this short video and you learned something new on how to use the new pattern layer in Affinity Photo. So I hope you like this video and learned something new today.